Art fight! Yippee! Hi guys, my name is Mars and July is fast approaching, or maybe it's not based on when you're watching this. For me, it's very fast approaching. And with July comes what's basically my favorite event of the summer, which kinda says a lot about me. The event, drumroll please, it's Art Fight! As you might have seen from the title and thumbnail probably. Yeah. In this video, I'll start by explaining briefly what Art Fight actually is and why I enjoy it so much, with the goal of either convincing more people to join Art Fight or just, making people understand why others might enjoy it a lot. I keep trying to get my friends to join, so I'm not the only person super hyper fixated on Art Fight, but I think a lot of people feel a bit intimidated by it, both the concept of Art Fight and the site. Horror music in the background, because looking at the site can be a bit overwhelming at first. It's not the easiest site to navigate I've ever seen. I think so, at least that was my experience when I first started Art Fight. I just had no idea where anything was. So I want to try and make it a bit less scary through, explaining what it is. I'm so autistic. I'm gonna try to make Art Fight seem a bit less scary through informing you of its functions in a way that's hopefully easy to understand. Essentially, Art Fight is an annual art trading game. Every July, people join one of two teams and basically just make art for each other. It's so cool, it's so wholesome. Each year, there's a different theme to the fight's teams. For example, 2022 was Bloom versus Wither, and 2023 was Emo versus Furry. Vampire versus Werewolf. And this year's theme, that got announced yesterday as I'm recording, is Seafoam versus Stardust. Though, as a disclaimer, the theme is just for the teams. It doesn't actually dictate what you're supposed to draw at all if you don't want it to. Formally, the point of the game is to earn as many points as possible for your team. That basically means making art of other people's characters and submitting it for points. At the end of the month, the team with the most points wins. Pretty straightforward. What'll get you the most points, of course, is drawing the other team's characters, but if you want to, you can do friendly fire and just draw characters from your own team, and you'll get points for it too, but it's just a lot less. I'll be explaining the system for how you get points later, but just know that you don't need to make a whole finished piece in order to get points. You'll be participating and get points even if you just, for example, submit a sketched headshot. It doesn't have to be larger than you want it to. On the surface, Art Fight might seem like something competitive, since I guess it kind of is a competition, but in reality I find that Art Fight, for me at least, is a lot less about winning and more about having fun drawing for others. You might imagine there to be a lot of pressure and see people be on the Art Fight grind constantly. I know I do, but I personally am of the opinion that Art Fight is whatever you make of it. If you just want to draw some silly sketches every now and then to participate, you can. Or if you get completely obsessed with drawing for Art Fight like I did, you can be on the grind constantly. But it's your choice, I think, is what I'm trying to say. I think it's just important to have fun with it, and if you don't have the time to do a lot of attacks, that's alright. Before we move on, I want to put a little disclaimer here saying that it's very important to take care of your health first and foremost through all of this. Not everyone has the energy or health to pop out to drawing after drawing. I certainly don't. If I don't listen to myself when my body tells me I need a break, it'll end up having big consequences later. So from one disabled person to possibly another, take care of yourselves, and that goes for everyone else too. Okay guys, let's get back to it. For me, what I really enjoy about Art Fight is, of course, drawing. I love drawing. It's so cool to look around the site and find just such cool designs and be I want to draw that. I want to draw it. Or if you're oh my god, I love this design. I feel like it would look really good in my style. I don't know, it makes me excited to be like, oh, I think I could draw this character really well, and I think the other person would be really happy if I did. Like, it's so cool to receive art of my characters too. It genuinely brightens my day so much whenever I get attacks or compliments on my characters, or I guess compliments on my attacks too. I also just really love making people happy by giving. I feel like art fight can be just really wholesome. Like, people are just drawing for each other because it's fun and they like your designs. Art fight can be kind of low stakes, I think, in a way. At least if you're in the right headspace for it. You're genuinely just giving people free art with no obligation to. And I think that's kind of helped me with my perfectionism a bit, because it doesn't need to be outstanding for people to like it. It's enough that you just drew their character. People will usually be happy about it anyways. That's part of the reason I think art fight can be so wholesome and chill if you're not going all in to win, you know? The art you're making doesn't need to be serious either. Something I did last year was just do a meme redraw. Like, I really enjoyed it because it was just silly. Another thing I like about art fight is how it kind of helps me know what to draw. There's a starting point when you find a character, and the description can really help you get specific ideas too. And like, seeing other people's OCs kind of inspires me to work on my own characters too. And knowing someone might draw the characters I add makes me really hyped. Like, art fight just kind of reminds me that I have some cool OCs too, not just the other people on the site. Like, after all, art fight is about celebrating everyone's characters, both others and your own. There is, however, a bit of a joke in the art fight community about everyone hurrying to draw reference sheets for their characters in preparation for the fight and just burning out before it even starts. Therefore, I've resorted to using art I already have for my character profiles, even if they're not reference sheet standard, because sometimes, you know, you just don't have the energy to draw 10 reference sheets. It's a lot of work. Respect to people who do have the energy to draw 10 reference sheets. If I have the motivation to draw a reference sheet, I can just sprinkle it in as I go, I think. Burning out is no fun, so I try to pace myself. Like, art fight does last for an entire month. If you don't have the time the entire month, or don't have the energy or health for the grind, it's fine to be slow or add stuff as you go. Now, if after this art fight doesn't seem like your cup of tea, I think that's totally fine. But if you're on the fence or want to partake for the first time, I want to give you all a little tour and explanation of the art fight site. I find that it can be a bit overwhelming and confusing when first looking at it, so I want to make it a bit simpler to understand. How to navigate the art fight website. When navigating the art fight website, what you have to pay the most attention to is this bar at the very top of the site. That's where you'll find honestly everything. The homepage doesn't have much except for being a homepage and won't really help you to browse anything, so you have to know which tabs to click in order to get to the right place. In the top bar, you'll find the homepage, the Discord, help, which includes a lot of things, and the shop. By logging in, you'll also have access to browse and submit, which is where the fun really starts. Under help, you can find important things such as info and guides, but the important ones are also to be found on the homepage itself. If you're new to art fight, I recommend checking out the About tab, as it has a comprehensive explanation of what art fight is in their own words. The other important thing to pay attention to here is the rules tab. I'd recommend everyone brush up on their understanding of the rules before the fight begins, just to be safe and make sure you're not overstepping with your attacks or characters. It's not too long of a read, with 3 sections split into general safety rules, upload rules, and a spirit of art fight rules. So I recommend looking at it in your own time. One rule I'd like to highlight though is that creating attacks before the fight begins is not allowed. All art submitted as attacks must be made during the current event in July. Under guides, you'll find attack organization. This encompasses the tutorial of how to classify and rate your attack. This is something I still refer back to when I'm unsure of something when posting an attack. You'll find filters right next to attack organization. It's important to filter your submissions so that others won't be exposed to something triggering or gore or suggestive themes they didn't ask for. I recommend having a look at what you need to filter for other safety as well as your own. you'll be able to edit the filters applied to your account in your own account settings. There's other things under help, but I won't be explaining them here, so you just go look at them in your own time if you want to. Browse. Here you can find members, attacks, and characters, which all have a similar layout. There you can search for their respective things based on different criteria like name or team. However, if you're searching for a specific user, it's easiest to either get the link or type in their name manually. Random character and random user do kind of what it sounds like they do. Clicking them will put you on the page of a randomly selected character or user. It's a silly feature if you really just want to see a random user or character. There's not much more to it than that. What I use most is tag search. It's very simple to use. You just type in a keyword, like in my case, I type in Splatoon over and over, and I see a lot of characters that have been tagged as Splatoon. You get shown a limited amount of characters when searching, so searching the same tag twice might show different results. From here, you can click on characters and bookmark them so you can find them again later. Submit is pretty self-explanatory. Here you'll find character and attack. You can submit your characters through here year-round, but the attack option only appears during the fight. So this is where you'll submit your attacks when participating. The last tab that'll be important to look at is under your username. By clicking your username, you'll be taken to your profile. That's pretty intuitive. But by looking at the tab itself, you'll be able to access more and manage things. By clicking profile, you'll yet again be taken to your profile, same as clicking your name. In settings, you do settings stuff, as you'd expect. You can also access this by clicking edit from your profile. Under user/site, you can edit your username, profile picture, and filters, while your bio is edited under profile. Character permissions are where you write what people are and aren't allowed to do with your characters. If you don't want people to draw your characters suggestively, for example, you can add that here. Think of it as your boundaries when it comes to people drawing your OCs. You can also find your followers and list of people you follow under settings. Manage. Manage is basically where you manage things. Like, if you click on characters, you'll be able to decide which order your characters are displayed in, or if you want to hide a character you already submitted from public viewing without actually deleting it, you can do that here. You can also submit a new character through this tab instead of through submit. This is also where you find your bookmarks. Even if you don't want to specifically edit your bookmarks, you have to go through here in order to see them. Under attacks, you can find all your attacks and edit them, though that just means editing the title, description, or thumbnail image. If you want to change how you rated the points of the attack or upload a new main image, you have to delete the attack altogether and start over. Messages. The Messages tab is basically just your notifications split into 4 categories. Messages are for when people message you. Yeah. Attacks are for when people attack you. Notifications are for when people notify you. No, I mean, they're for when people follow you or comment on your stuff or mention you. Subscriptions is where you'll find the things the people you follow are up to. If they post a new character or attack, you'll see that here. That's basically it for getting around the site itself. Now, I want to go over a few tips and tricks since the site has its limitations for now. If you want to reply to someone's comment, you have to at them specifically. There's no reply button still. If you're searching for a specific user, for example, if you found someone through social media and you can't just click their link, an easy way to find them is to go to your own profile and just substitute your name with theirs in the link. How to submit a character. When first looking at the page where you submit your characters, it kind of feels like a lot, at least on desktop, but not everything is mandatory and a lot of stuff is quite simple. You just add the name of the character's description, like pronouns, species, age, lore, backstory, anything you want to share about the character. Under permissions, you basically state your boundaries when it comes to this specific character. If everything you stated in your global character permission still applies, you don't actually need to add anything here. However, if you have either more or less do's and don'ts when it comes to a specific character, you can state that here. Here you have to decide if your character needs to be censored based on filters or not. If it's totally vanilla, you just click no. But if your character has gore, is nude, or uses bright colors, you just click yes. Then you'll be given the option to check every box that applies. Credits. Adding the correct credits is important. If you design the character on your own, you can just click yes and move on. But if you didn't, you'll have to add appropriate credits with a link to the designer. When uploading your character's image, you first add the main image. And if you want a separate thumbnail image, you can add that, but it has to be 200 by 200 pixels. If you want to upload more than one image to your character's page, you'll have to do that in editing later, rather than upon creation. Adding tags is pretty self-explanatory. Just tag your character with what it is or something you think would help people discover it in tag search. How the point system works / rating your attacks. Artifight's point system basically works by you assessing your own art and filling out how much you drew. For example, you have to rate the size, meaning how much of the character you included in your attack, either a headshot, half body, or full body. The more of the character you drew, the more points you get. Same when it comes to sketch versus lines, or no color versus fully colored pieces, or having no shading versus being fully shaded. You get what I mean, I think. If you have no background, you rate it as no background, while if you drew a full scene, you'll get points for a full background. The more you do, the more points you get, essentially. This way, it doesn't really matter if you've been drawing for only a little while or if you're a highly experienced artist. It's based on the amount of work you did rather than your skill. If you're really proud of your art, or if you spend a lot of time / effort on the piece, you can add the polish option to get a few extra points too. It's important to try and rate your own attacks fairly, as Artfight trusts you to not abuse the system to get a bunch of unearned points. Well, that's how the system works, but for how to properly rate your attacks, I recommend you actually go read the guide. You can find it on the homepage under Attack Guide. I still referred back to this myself when rating my attacks to make sure I get it right, so I'm not going to explain that here because, I don't know, it's a bit to go through, and I think Artfight will explain it best. If I got anything wrong in this video, feel free to correct me in the comments. If you have any tips or any information you want to share about Artfight that you think can be useful for new art fighters and experienced art fighters, feel free to put that in the comments. I want to just, create a resource for people where we can, share our experiences and information to, all learn more from each other. Yeah, that's the end of the video. Bye. I hope it was useful.